Hari Om, everybody. It's 10 o'clock. We will get started. Om. Om. Ganana Antva Ganapati Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannuti Visve Dasadanam प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननं वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ब्रह्मानन्दम् परमसुखदम् केवलम् ज्ञानमूर्तिम् द्वन्द्वातीतम् गगनसदृशम् तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकम् नित्यम् विमलमचलम् सर्वधी साक्षिभूतम् भावातीतम् त्रिगुणरहितम् सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् यस्य सन्निधे मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम्. Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Vedanta classes on Viveka Choodamani. Let's get started with our Mangala Charana Shloka. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tama Gocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. For the last few weeks, we have been engaged in the Mahavakya Vichara, specifically inquiry into the statement Tat Tvam Asi from the Chandogya Upanishad. These Mahavakyas, as our Pujya Gurudev defined it, are identity revealing statements that indicate the unity, the essential oneness of the individual and the infinite truth. After the Tvam Pada Vichara and after the Tat Pada Vichara last week, we focused on the Asi Pada Vichara, meaning to how to arrive at that oneness between Atman and Brahman. To recap that, first let us chant verse number 242, because in that verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gave us the obvious differences that one can see when we apply the Vachyartha, meaning the literal meaning of the sentence. Aikyam tayor lakshitayor navachyayoh. Aikyam tayor lakshitayor navachyayoh. Nigadyate अन्योन्य विरुद्ध धर्मिणोः निगद्यते अन्योन्य विरुद्ध धर्मिणोः कद्योत बान्वो रिवराजभृत्ययोः खद्योत बान्वो रिवराजभृत्ययोः कूपाम्बुराश्योः Paramanumervoho. In this verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gave us 4 examples that are in the last 2 lines. Khadyota Banu, the glowworm and the sun. In that context of effulgence, to depict what? To depict Jiva is Alpagna, that is with limited knowledge. Ishvara is Sarvagna, unlimited knowledge. The second example he gave was Raja Bhrutyayoho, the king and the servant. To illustrate what? Ishvara is the controller of everything. He is the wielder of Maya. Maya Adhipati. And Jiva is the controlled. Maya Dasa. In the third example he gave, Kupa Amburashi, the well and the ocean. Limited versus unlimited. Again, vast. You can take space, you can take bliss, unlimited bliss, unlimited everything. That's why we call him Bhagavan. Unlimited wealth. And finally, Paramanu and Meru. I am the speck, I am a little speck in the big scheme of things, and he is the big. Like Mount Meru versus an atom. Last week, I also explained with examples what is Vachyartha and what is Lakshyartha. Vachyartha means literal meaning of the word or sentence. For example, if I say, he is a lion, it is obvious that I have to take the indicative meaning there or Lakshyartha to decipher that expression and imply that he is brave like a lion or he is fearless like a lion. Then Aikya, the oneness, or the Asipada in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya should be arrived at what? By stripping the relative conditioning. The oneness is to be arrived by using Lakshyartha or the indicative meaning or the implied meaning. We elaborated all that. I hope you caught up on the Chinmaya Ramanam if you have missed the class. Then we talked about last week also how the Vedantic text talks about how to derive these implied meanings technically, how to use this Lakshyartha. We discussed several examples along with the three methods. One is Jahati Lakshana, Ajahal Lakshana or Ajahati Lakshana, Bhagatyaga Lakshana, the third methodology. And in the examples that we elaborately discussed last week, and I appreciate all the positive comments. For example, let's say we say ashram is on the Ganga. We imply simply that ashram is on the banks of river Ganga. Or when we say Australia is playing India, we imply Australian cricket team is playing the Indian cricket team. Or in a classic example used in the Vedantic text, Sonaha Dhavati, meaning red is running. And in that we need to apply the implied meaning that a red horse is running or whatever may be that circumstance. Like that, we need to apply the implied meaning. Now in verse 247, we saw Tatastu tau lakshanaya sulakshyav. Tatastu tau lakshanaya sulakshyav. तयोरकण्डैकरसत्वसिद्धये तयोरकण्डैकरसत्वसिद्धये नालं जहत्या न तथा अजहत्या नालं जहत्या न तथा अजहत्या किन्तु भयार्तात्मिकयैव भाव्यम् किन्तु भयार्तात्मिकयैव भाव्यम्. So to arrive at this Asipada, meaning to arrive at this oneness in Mahavakya, Tattvam Asi, both the Jahati and the Ajahati Lakshana are inadmissible, not applicable. For arriving, Atman equals Brahman. He said, Nalam Jahatya Natata Ajahatya. We can't use both those methodology. So what do? Kintu bhayartatmikayaiva bhavyam. I apply the bhagatyaga lakshana. Meaning, in this methodology, what do? We arrive at the implied meaning by giving up a portion of the Vachyartha or the literal meaning, which is contradictory, and then retaining the non-contradictory portion. So last week, I explained how Vedantic texts use these terms like Devadatta, Somadatta, Brahmadatta, all those names. So we picked Soyam Devadatta, very famous illustration used to illustrate what? Bhagatyaga Lakshana. Simply said, that Devadatta, in that example, very commonly used. So I told you a long story with a lot of added masala for our understanding. How our Devadatta from New Jersey, who goes by Dev, Devadatta, Dev, for Wall Street folks. And he always wears a suit and a tie because he works on Wall Street. And he had some distinctive features like pointy nose, wide sunburns, thick eyebrows almost joined together. And he was the same guy, the same Devadatta, although he was wearing a traditional dhoti, a silk shirt with chandan and kumkum on his forehead, who was waiting to do archana at the Parashakti temple in Pontiac, Michigan. Same Devadatta. How did I arrive at that? Let us chant number 248. That makes it easier to understand this verse right now. Sadeva datto ayamiti hachaikata. Sadeva datto Toyamiti hachaikata viruddha dharmam shamapasya katyate viruddha dharmam shamapasya katyate yatha tatha tattvamasiti vakye yatha tatha tattvamasiti vakye viruddha dharmanubayatra hitva viruddha dharmanubayatra hitva. Just by dropping the contradictory aspects, viruddha bhaga. What did we drop in our example? The western suit, the tie, and the traditional dhoti, the chandan on his forehead. That Soyam Devadattaha. That is the meaning of Soyam Devadattaha. Same way, in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, the common factor between Vyasti and Samasti, the common factor between the macro conditioning and the micro conditioning, that is the same. Viruddha dharma shamapasya kathyate. So in the sentence, Tattvamasi, let's chant 249. Samlakshya chinmatrataya sadatmanoho. Samlakshya chinmatrataya sadatmanoho. Akhanda bhavaha परिचीयते बुधैः अखंड भावः परिचीयते बुधैः एवं महावाक्यशतेन कथ्यते एवं महावाक्यशतेन कथ्यते ब्रह्मात्मनोरैक्यमखण्ड भावः ब्रह्मात्मनोरैक्यमखण्ड भावः बुधैः. The wise man, a wise man, what he must do? He must give up the contradictory elements on both sides of the equation and recognize the identity of Ishvara and the Jiva. From the point in Upadeshasara, we saw that example from the point of Sat Swabhavataha. There is one reality, Vastu Kevalam. This is Jiva Brahma Aikya, the oneness between Atman and Brahman. This is realized only when we shift our attention from the conditionings or upadhi to the unconditioned consciousness. So in the next few verses, they are the essence of how to turn this into our own experience. How to turn this gnana to vijnana. How to turn this knowledge to experiential knowledge. So with that, we will chant verse number 251. Those who are following along in the textbook. मृत्कार्यं सकलं घटादि सततं मृन्मात्रमेवाहितम् मृत्कार्यं सकलं घटादि सततं मृन्मात्रमेवाहितम् तद्वत्सज्जनितं सदात्मकमिदम् सन्मात्रमेवाखिलम् तद्वत्सज्जनितं सदात्मकमिदम् सन्मात्रमेवाखिलम् यस्मान्नास्ति सतः परम् किमपि तत्सत्यं स आत्मा स्वयम् यस्मान्नास्ति सतः परम् किमपि तत्सत्यं स आत्मा स्वयम् तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तममलम् ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम् तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तममलम् ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम्. Together one more time. मृत्कार्यं सकलं घटादि सततं मृन्मात्रमेवाहितम् तद्वत् तत्सज्जनितं सदात्मकमिदम् सन्मात्रमेवाखिलम् यस्मान्नास्ति सतः परम् किमपि तत्सत्यं स आत्मा स्वयम् तस्मात् तत्त्वमसि प्रशान्तममलम् ब्रह्माद्वयं यत्परम्. See, we have seen this type of example before. First line. Mrutkaryam sakalam gatadi satatam mrunmatramevahitam. How every product that is made out of clay, in essence, is always clay. We may call it by different names, pot, jug, jar, plate, all those. Similarly, the whole universe has no independent existence. It comes out of Brahman, nothing but Brahman. Tadvat sajjanitam sadatmakamidam sanmatramevakhilam. Here is where we can say this is the truth, nothing but the truth and the whole truth. Because the cause and the effect are one and the same. The effect is the manifestation of the cause. And cause is permeated in and through the effect. Like how clay permeates in and through the pot, through and through. So that Brahman, when we say, is Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. And when in the verse we chant, Universe is Sat Janitam. Born out of that Sat Vastu is Sadatmakam. It is nothing but Sat alone. This is echoing the passages of Chandogya Upanishad. This is the essence of all of Viveka Choodamani. Yasmannasti satah param kimapi tatsatyam sa atma swayam. As there is nothing apart from Brahman, if everything is Brahman, here he is saying, Atma Swayam, we too are Brahman. So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is saying, Tasmat Tattvamasi Prashantamamalam Brahmadvayam Yat Param. You are that serene Brahman, one without the second. We may think we are this limited being right now, but he is saying, you are that Amalam, ever pure, Advayam, one without the second, non-dual, Param, supreme Brahman. That you are. Then in the next verse, which is another essential summary, Nidra Kalpita Desha Kala Vishaya Jnatradi Sarvam Yatha. Nidra Kalpita Desha Kala Vishaya Jnatradi Sarvam Yatha. Mithya Tadvadihapi Jagrati Jagat Swagnana Karyatvatah. Nidra Kalpita Desha Kala Vishayat Jnatradi Sarvam Yatha. Mithya Tadvadihapi Jagrati Jagat Swagnana Karyatvatah. Yasmadevamidam Sharira Karana Pranahamadhyapyasate. Yasmadevamidam Sharira Karana Pranahamadhyapyasate. Tasmat Tattvamasi Prashantamamalam Brahmadvayam Yat Param. One more time together. Nidra Kalpita Desha Kala Vishaya Jnatradi Sarvam Yatha. Mithya Tadvadihapi Jagrati Jagat Swagnana Karyatvatah. Yasmadevamidam Sharira Karana Pranahamadhyapyasat. Tasmat Tattvamasi Prashantamamalam Brahmadvayam Yat Param. The space, the time, and all the objects, the knower of those objects that are projected in the dream. Nidra Kalpita Desha Kala Vishaya Jnatradi Sarvam Mithya, Yatha Mithya. The world we are experiencing in the waking state also, how we rule out, moment we wake up, all the objects, everything that we had seen in the dream. So too, the world experience in the waking state. He said, tadvadihapi jagrati, that waking state, jagrada avastha. See, in the dream, the tiger in the dream may be chasing us. We are sweating. We are running. In dream, all the dimensions are possible, running, falling, all those experiences. But as soon as we wake up, the moment we wake up, how we rule out it was unreal. Just like that, he's saying the waking world is also unreal because it is Ajnana Karyatvataha. It is a projection of our ignorance. However ridiculous the dream may appear to the waker, the dream appears real as long as we are in that dream. But as soon as we wake up, we know it was all the mind playing that trick. In the dream, we know mind creates the swapna prapancha, the imaginary dream world, and it appears real. We are falling, we are running, we are sweating, gasping for breath. And this is what Shankaracharya ji's guru's guru, Gaudapadacharya ji, in Mandukya Karika, the Karika on the Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, he says, therefore, the same thing, he says, the dream world. Tasmat tattvamasi prashantamamalam brahmadvayam yat param. You are that serene, pure, supreme Brahman, the one without the second. So with this verse, the essential teaching is done. Now begins the next stage in our journey. Now I've intellectually understood the meaning of the Mahavakya Tattvam Asi. But it has to translate to Aham Brahma Asmi. The intellectual knowledge, even if it is Sandeha Rahita Gnanam, meaning even if it is doubt-free knowledge, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji is saying it does not translate to actual experience. It does not translate to anubhuti, actual experience. We might have heard, although we might have heard through repeated Shravanam that I am Brahman, I am Brahman. I have even reflected on it, done Mananam, but it is rather weak. You hear in these Vedanta classes, a lot of people, they will say, oh, these are all nice concepts. For them, it is still the concept. Because we all have strong ideas that I am the doer. I am a self-made man. I am the enjoyer. We call that kartrutva, bhoktrutva in Vedanta. In short, my anatma identification or my anatma vasana is very strong. Although Vedantic knowledge tells me that I am Brahman, but the contrary notion related to my anatma, related to my body, my mind, my intellect, all that are very, very powerful. So in Vedanta, we call it Viparita Bhavana. In other words, these are strong habitual tendencies that are deep-rooted in all of us. These are impressions that are etched in the deep grooves of our subtle personality layers. How do we overcome this habitual tendency or thinking? Just like any other habit, we need to break that habit. I have to build a repository of Atma Vasanas, constantly flooding my mind with Atma Vasanas. Instead of Vishayakara Vritti, I bring in Brahmakara Vritti. In Upadeshasara, we use the term Sajatiya Vritti Pravaha, meaning you flood the mind with this single thought, Atma Vishaya. In our seat of meditation, this repeated call to the mind, it is often called as contemplation, is termed as nididhyasana, or in Ashtanga Yoga, dharana dhyana samadhi. We'll spend a little more time on that topic when we come to those select verses in Viveka Choodamani. But coming back, verses 251 and 252 we chanted, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji gave the disciple all of this essential teaching. Or not just the disciple, all of us. In the next 10 verses, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji tells the student, or in other words, you and I, to take our minds to that subtle levels of understanding and experience the truth. These verses were the favorite of our Pujya Gurudev, Swami Chinmaya ji. These are beautiful ideas that are given to contemplate upon during our Vedantic meditation. We will start with verse number 254. Just sit back, close your eyes. That means if you're driving and listening around. Just sit back, close your eyes. I'll just chant each of the verse 3 times because it will help us not only to get the right tune and the pronunciation, but also bring in that bhava. Jati niti kula gotra duragam. Jati niti kula gotra duragam. नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम् नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम् जाति नीति कुल गोत्र दूरगम् नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम् देश काल विषयाति वर्तियत् देश काल विषयाति वर्तियत् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि. One more time together. जाति नीति कुल गोत्र दूरगम् नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम् देश काल विषयाति वर्तियद् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि. We are telling our mind in this deep seat of meditation, you are that Brahman. Meditate on this tattva in your mind. Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji is saying, keep that attitude in your mind. The teacher is telling the student, meaning all of us, plunge deep into that Brahman. Which Brahman? Jati niti kula gotra duragam. That which is beyond all limitations, all divisions that we have created. Jati means caste. Niti means do's and don'ts. Rules and regulations. Norms and forms. Brahman is beyond all those divisions. Kula and Gotra, the family lineage. I say I am from the lineage of Bharadwaja Gotra, Kashyapa Gotra. Brahman is beyond all these. Nama Rupa Guna Dosha Varjitam. Brahman is beyond the name and the forms, good and the bad distinctions, beyond the gunas. Desha Kala Vishayati Vartiyat. He is beyond space, beyond time, beyond objects. meaning beyond our relative existence, because it transcends time, space, and causality. He's telling the student, Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. When we understand something, it is gnana, a function of the intellect. When we feel that with contemplation, heart is involved, that bhava. So this bhava yatmani is that integration of the head and the heart. That is Vedantic meditation. To quote our Puja Gurudev, he would say, feeling full understanding. Or he would say, understandingly feeling is bhavayatmani. This is the bhavana in meditation. Brahma tattvamasi bhavayatmani. Jati niti kula gotra duragam. नाम रूप गुण दोष वर्जितम् देश काल विषयाति वर्तियत् ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्म तत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि. We'll stop here and continue in the next class. But just come prepared with a fresh mind, serene mind. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Om peace, peace, peace. With that, I'll open it up for our interactive discussion session. If your schedule permits, please stay back